Hey guys, David with the Wholesaler's Toolbox. A while back I put a video here on YouTube about driving for dollars, and it's been one of my most popular videos, and I get a lot of people messaging me on YouTube or emailing me asking me questions of things that I didn't cover in the video. So I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about, a couple of those questions and kind of fill in the gaps. So if you didn't watch that video, I'm going to put a link below so you can watch that first and then come back and watch this video. So, all right. So what's the biggest question I get about driving for dollars in that video is, how many houses do you have to go to get a deal? And excuse me, that, that wasn't really in my mind when I first started driving for dollars. I wanted to get into wholesaling. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on mail or on bandit signs or, different kinds of marketing, building a website or that, because I didn't know, I didn't know if I was going to be successful at it, right? So I wanted to test, something or do something that I could do with relatively low or no budget. And driving for dollars seemed to fit that bill. So I went to, I printed off letters and I'll, put a link to the, letter I use below as well. But, I went to Walmart and got a big box of paper and a big box of envelope. It was, the cheapest place you can buy it. Printed off letters, put them in the envelope. I mark property owner like that right on the front of it. I tape it to the front door with blue painter's tape. Right, so it doesn't damage the door, so it, the owner can peel it off easy and don't mess up their house. And I hit the road and I got a map and I picked a city and I started driving up and down the street. And my only goal was, I'm going to put a note on every door in the city, and then when I'm done, I'm going to pick another city and do the same thing. So I started doing it, started going up and down the streets, and I'm going to guess it was about 150 houses that I put notes on the door. All right. And if you're out driving for dollars and you're doing it, you can do anywhere, depending on the area, depending on how many, if it's a regular residential street where it's, one house after another, you can do anywhere from, 25 to, or I'm sorry, I take that back. 25 to 50 a day, or, 10 an hour, 8 an hour, something like that. If you're just driving, you grab a cup of coffee, grab a pop, and you just start driving up and down the streets looking for them. So that was my system. All right. And out of that 150, within 30 days, I got 5 under contract. All right. And then I slowed down on the driving for dollars because I was doing the deals, and I needed to, pay attention to those and go look at the houses and, negotiating and going to the closings and all that stuff. So, and then I was back at it again. So I wasn't really thinking about, I'm going to, start a website and talk about this one day, or start doing videos. So I didn't track the response rate, from the beginning. But I'll tell you this, I've done mail and I've done driving for dollars, and driving for dollars works better because, and I think I mentioned this in the other video, but it's the mentality of the seller. Okay. If you've got a vacant property or you're an absentee owner and you get mail like on your property, like every week or every month, somebody sends you a letter. Hey, you want to list the house? You want to sell the house? I'm an investor. They're getting yellow letters. They're getting postcards. But if somebody comes to your house and leaves you a note on the door, it's a different, it's different in their mind. It's not junk mail anymore. It's, it's a personal note. Somebody came to the house looking for me and left a note, and they're more apt to open it and they're more apt to call you. Plus, a lot of houses that are vacant don't, the owner hasn't changed the tax billing address with the county or with the city. So, a lot of them have the same property address and tax billing address. So if nobody's living there, the post office isn't delivering mail anymore, nobody's getting a letter. So if you go out and put a note on the door, that's the only marketing they're getting is your note. And so people ask me, they say, well, if nobody's living there, how are they going to get the note? Well, here's the thing. If somebody owns a property, all right, somebody owns a house somewhere and it's vacant, all right, somebody is checking on that property. It's just not sitting there, typically it's just not sitting there and somebody's, just forgotten about it. So either the neighbor's watching it, all right, or the owner lives close by and they're driving by it, or they have a relative checking on it. So they're going to get that letter, and it might be, they might get it, today, they might get it tomorrow, it might be a week, it might be a month. I've had some that have called me 6 months later, right? I got your note, and I think, they tell me where the house is, and I go, I haven't been there forever. It was like, last summer I drove that neighborhood. So it gets to them. That's my point is it's eventually going to get to them, and it's going to have a lot better response rate than mailing. Okay. And because the house is vacant, that there's an issue there. You can see that it's in bad shape or whatever. So driving for dollars works. So back to the question, how many houses do you have to do to get a response? And just guessing, it's cool. I'm going to say the response rate is, 5 to 7% is what I see personally. All right. But it depends on the neighborhood. It depends, is it a high end neighborhood? Is it a working class neighborhood? Is it an inner city neighborhood that's, they got a lot of vacant houses? I mean, that all factors into it. So my advice is, don't worry about how many it's going to take, because you might go out one day and put 50 on and not get anything, and go out the next week and do 50 and get 4 calls. So that's just how it works. You've got to be consistent at it. So don't worry about the number of them and just commit to doing it. Okay, and just say, hey, I'm going to drive for dollars until I get a deal. So if it takes you 300 to get the phone ring, and somebody calls and you do the house and you do a deal and you make 10 grand, then, it's worth just getting one off of it. So don't worry about how many, just start doing it. If you're working another job, do it on the weekends, put your husband or wife or kids in the car with you and just go out, and drive. And my wife likes looking at houses. So, she would do it with me, if I wanted her to, and, just go and turn on the radio and drive up and down the street and, jump out and put notes on doors. So the other, and I mentioned this in the other video too, but I don't like, I'm not big for sitting down at the computer and just, skip tracing people unless I really want the house bad. So doing it this way and leaving the note for them kind of eliminated that step for me. I could just, put the note on the door, keep driving, and eventually people would call me and I didn't have to get on and skip trace and do all those things. So I like it better. I like being outside better than I like being inside. So it was good for me. All right. So what other questions do we have here? Somebody asked me similar question, but about like closing ratio. And I can't tell you that, that's going to depend on you. What's your sales skills? How well do you connect with people and all that stuff? What I can tell you is the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And I mean, that's obvious, but you've got to be comfortable talking to people, and you've got to be able to build rapport. And the more people call you, more you talk to them, the more you go look at houses and all that, you're just going to get more comfortable with it. And people are going to feel that you're at ease, and and that makes them talk to you, and that makes it just all go better. So close ratio, again, it's going to depend on you, but you're not going to get good at it until you start doing it. So get out and start driving for dollars and do it. All right. Let's see. Somebody asked me about, because I mentioned, I think, paying people to drive for dollars, and what to pay them and how to do it and all that stuff. I guess a lot of people do the bird dog theory, and they just say, hey, if you find a house and send it to me. I'll pay you, I'll cut you in on the deal. And if you can find somebody to do that, that's great. That's a good thing, I guess. But my mentality was always, if somebody's motivated enough to get in the car and spend their money on gas and drive up and down the street and put notes on doors for you and Bird Dog Properties, it's not going to be very long until they're just going to be wholesaling themselves because they're motivated to do it, right? So I never did bird dogs, honestly. It wasn't my thing. But I do, and with my kids now, and I have paid people to drive for dollars for me. And it just depends, gas prices or, whatever, who it is. But if you pay somebody between $1 and $1.50 a house to go put notes on the doors for you, that's what I do. So, that makes them motivated to do it. If you're paying them by the house, so they can go out, and hit, 50 houses or 100 houses or whatever, and they make good money do it. Pay them by the hour if you want, pay them $10 an hour. But here's what I would suggest if you're going to pay somebody to drive for dollars for you, then have them, make sure they have a smartphone, have them download like Dropbox on their phone, and then every house they go to and put a note on, have them, like, after they tape the note on the door and they're walking back to the car, have them take a picture of the note on the door so you can see the house, and have them put that automatically into a shared Dropbox file. And then you can know that on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day they went out, you can look in the file and see how many houses that they did and know that they actually were driving and doing it, not just saying, oh yeah, I went out and did it, and and then you're paying them for doing nothing if they didn't do it. So that's how I would do it. Just set up a Dropbox file and have them dump it in there. So that's it on this video. I think it's just get out and do it. It's cheap. It costs you a tank of gas and, printing off some letters, and just get out and drive neighborhoods. Also gives you a good feel for the neighborhoods and, what the properties look like and how to spot a vacant thing, or a vacant house, and, not a vacant thing, a vacant house, and just get out and do it. It's spring, or spring's coming. It's like 40 degrees here today. This is the best time to do it. It's the weather's going to be getting pretty, and just get out and do it. The phone will ring. You'll talk to sellers, you set up appointments to go look at houses and all that, and just get your feet wet, just get doing it, and then it'll snowball, and before you know it, you'll be doing deals, and you'll be closing deals and making money, and you'll be a full-time wholesaler. So that's it. I will make another video soon, and I hope you're all having a great day. Talk to you. Bye-bye.